Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Spiritual Growth Journeys. I'm Kimberly Palm, and I am very grateful to have you all here today. I have a guest with me today. I'm really excited. It's so much fun when I get to have these beautiful, wonderful, talented light workers on my show. And today I have a very beautiful, talented light worker, Sandra McEllis, with me today. Sandra is an amazing healer. She's an energy healer and light worker. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Sandra, and then I'm going to let her tell you about her because she has a lot going on. Sandra has a program for, where she does sacred healing sessions on people and soul embodiment sessions. She does a lot of different types of energy work on people and healing work with people, and works on emotional stuff with people. That's her thing. And one of her logos is behind, or one of her sayings behind her there, keep it spiritually simple, which I'm going to let her explain to you what that means and where she got that from. But anyway, Sandra is a friend of mine from Facebook, and we've known each other, I don't know, like a couple years now, probably, I think on Facebook, something like that. Yeah. And we've talked quite a bit, and I just love Sandra's energy. She feels like a sister to me. She's just got amazing, beautiful energy. And so I wanted to have her on here to talk to you all because her energy is just so incredible. I wanted to share her with everyone. So welcome to my YouTube channel, Sandra. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. And Kimberly, thank you very much for having me today. It's an honor.
Oh, you're welcome. So so tell me, what is your story? So how did you get into becoming a healer? Because I mean, I know you do all this amazing work. What is like your story? Because everybody always likes to hear people's stories of how did they get into doing all this spiritual stuff, what some people call woo-woo. I don't, my husband loves to call me woo-woo. But how did you get into doing this line of work? Like, what was your process or your journey that you went through to get you to this moment in time where you're doing this work to help people?
Well, I think for me, I came in as a healer, not knowing what a healer was or having any definition of it. Being one of 5 kids, I just had an ability to call animals in, and babies were always attracted to me, even if I wasn't attracted to them. And I just had an ability to understand other people's pain and angst and anxiety and happiness and joy long before I knew what empathic meant. So I had to go through my own little dusty roads. My sister started when I was very young saying I was an alien and I didn't belong in this family because I had sunken eyes and I didn't look like any of them. So I learned really early on in my life just to kind of keep my head down low and fall into line and just observe things and keep it to myself. So it wasn't until I really got older that I realized I had the ability to touch. Everyone was always like, please rub my shoulder, please touch this. And when someone was hurt in any way, shape, or form, emotionally, physically, there was just something about the way I touched them that it transferred to them, but I didn't realize the power behind it, having no skills, no training, growing up in a religious structured family. My mom was a nurse, but that didn't mean she was a healer. Do you know what I mean? But it wasn't until probably in my early 30s after an injury that I was introduced to massage. And I found that it was such an opening of areas that I had no idea I had stored in my physical body from anything. I was always very different religiously. I didn't believe in structured religion. So I didn't pray the way everyone else did. I felt like there was so much more to the fishbowl, so to speak, this little box, this little brick and mortar label, so to speak. But anyway, after I got into actually receiving massage work and realizing the emotional releasing that occurred thereafter, I had to get into it myself. So I learned infant massage first, so I could teach mothers how to massage their babies in a way that kept them healthy. and also developed a bond between the parent and the child.
Oh, beautiful.
I later became a massage therapist and was self-taught in all of my energy work. So there weren't really any energy classes out there.
Mhm.
So spirits would come in and I had to learn how to just sort of commingle with them, or how I got answers about what was going on in the physical body, as far as an illness may be or pain. And people would say to me, "What do you do?" And Reiki was a very light word used back in the 90s. So I would just say, "Oh, it's Reiki." And then I would get, "What's that?" Then I realized I needed to just sort of figure it out. And then my thing was more about empowering the person to go within them, not look at what I was doing to them, with them, and upon them.
Mhm.
So later it developed into taking more Reiki courses, advanced Reiki, past life regression, hypnosis. And honestly, it's been walking my walk. I've had experiences in all of these modalities in which I've gotten certified, and how it's changed my life, which is what had me go down the pathway of getting certified so that I could help others in the way it helped me.
Wow. That's awesome. I love so much that you said that you were working with infants, because that bond between a baby, I breastfed both of my babies, and that the bond that we had, that I created with us, was so incredible. And I think the touch and the massage, when you're touching your child and you're holding them close to your body, it like when, they're newborn infants, especially, the bond is like, there's nothing like that bond. Like, I can't even explain it to people who've never been a mother, who have never had a baby that they birthed themselves. I can't even explain that. Like, that's, I guess, 5D maybe. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but I mean, it's just such an incredible thing that there's just like no description. It's just amazing, that special bond that you have with your baby. Unless you're a sociopath or a psychopath or something, then you're not going to ever have, or a narcissist, then you're not going to have that bond with your baby.
Right.
My mother didn't have that bond with me because she was a narcissist, and she, I was born C-section, and she never breastfed me. She bottle fed me, and we never ever had that bond, and we didn't get along up until she passed. We had fleeting moments where we'd get along really well, but then the rest of the time we never got along. And I was listening to you tell your story, and I was like, wow, I have so many things that are similar. Like, I was like an alien. I never fit into my family because I didn't look anything like my mom. I didn't look anything like my dad. And the only reason I knew that I wasn't adopted, because I used to think I was some alien adopted into that family, is because my baby brother, who's 6 years younger than me, looks just like me. So I know, because of that, I know that we're, because we're related and it came out of the same mom, that somehow we look like that. But I also found out a few years back that when you come in and you reincarnate into bodies, you actually come back looking almost exactly the same as you did in previous lifetimes. And you come back looking the same. So when you come into a family and you don't look anything like them at all, but genetically you're their kid, that's one of the explanations, because you're in this life looking like you did before. You come back kind of looking really, really similar. In my case, I look exactly like I did last time, except my skin's really light. And in my last life, my skin was dark. It was it wasn't really dark, super dark, but it was like a golden brown kind of a color, because our family came from India, from a really high, I think like northeastern India or something like that. So my skin was like a golden brown, but in this life, I look exactly the same, except my skin's, lighter. And that's part of why I don't look anything like my dad at all. He had blonde hair and blue eyes, and everyone in his family had blonde hair and blue eyes. Do I have blonde hair and blue eyes? No. My mom had bright flaming orange hair. And so I used to think I was an alien, and I never felt like I fit in. Like, I felt like I was like an ET. And it's so hilarious because my mother, who was a psychic, she is the one who told me that we were put here, that humans were created by extraterrestrials, that we weren't created. Like, my family was very religious, they went to services every single weekend and they were very religious, but my mom believed that it was much more greater than that God created many entities on many worlds all over the place. That was
Wow.
her belief system. And she believed that humans were created as a result of ETs that came from a planet that was either destroyed or like a dying race. She said that part of our editing genetic material was done by beings that came from like worlds that were like dying or something, and they wanted to they wanted to carry on. They wanted their future ancestors to carry on. And I thought that was kind of interesting. But I was listening to a lot of the stuff you were saying, and I'm like, that sounds really, really similar to to me. So what made you pick the modalities that you picked? So the healing modalities that you do, you said, you were doing some Reiki, you did some hypnotherapy, you got certified in a lot of different areas. What made you, because I have a lot of clients and a lot of people coming to me saying, Kimberly, I want to be an energy healer, but I don't even have any clue where to start. Like there's so much out there. Like at what moment or what time did you know this is what I want to do? Or what led you to those decisions to try those different modalities? Was it because they were all things you tried yourself, or was there some other reason?
Well, it was things I tried myself. Now, please remember, back in the 90s, a lot of these things were not popular at all whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So massage was still down under in the back rooms of, places you didn't want to go. But it had such a profound healing effect, not only on injuries that I had, but on the emotional, mental side of it, that I had to go into it. That was just really the starting gate for me. The energy work that was self-taught, I felt like I needed to label it. So that had me go in search of Reiki and some other modalities. But I went into hypnosis and past life regression because of my own profound experiences. I had a friend of mine who was enrolled in the Barbara Brennan School in New York. And when you do that, you must be under the care of a psychiatrist and a psychologist, because you go through so much. And she herself was doing this regression work. And I'm like, hey, I've opened the window up to all of this. What else can I jump through and do for myself? And in my very first session with this doctor, I had no idea what to expect. I went into hypnosis relaxation states, and he asked me, where are you? Now, I could see where I was, but I didn't know how to tell him because I thought it was in my imagination. And so he kept asking me, and I kept going, I don't know, until finally he said, stand up and let me do some energy work. And he did, and he started to tell me where I was. And he could tell me exactly where I was. And in my mind, I'm standing there like, oh my God, how does he know this? So then I started being able to feel comfortable to relay back. And it turns out that I was a woman probably back in the, I don't know, I want to say 1700s. And I had to describe the room that I was in. And it wasn't out of these times. And I was angry. I was yelling because other people could speak what they wanted to speak, but why did I speak? And I'm now going to lose my life over it. And so in that moment, then I was walked outside, and I was on like a cement slab stage, and there was a noose. And I knew that I was about to be put to death. Now, it didn't scare me at all because I knew that it wasn't happening in this moment. So I literally, as soon as I stepped up to the noose, it went black. And this happened in a couple of different regression classes that sessions I had. And it all led back to why my fifth chakra was so locked up into this lifetime, right? Mm-hmm. So in unraveling that and understanding that and accepting that, then I had to go in it so that I could share with other people and give tips to other people that I know would help explain to them in layman's terms what to expect, and that the practitioner is just here to hold space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. So is that the only life that you ever saw, or did you see other past lives when you were looking?
I saw other past lives. There were many about the throat chakra. And then
Wow.
many about betrayal,
Mm-hmm.
being in like the colonies and trying to help both sides and being ratted out by someone who you trusted.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that brought forth, where am I in this lifetime? I have abandonment and trust issues here, which is why only a few people can get close to me or that I'm willing to share my truth with. So there was probably a few more. I can't think of them all. But once I opened that pathway and that door through a professional practitioner, things began to trigger on their own, which is what was wonderful, because I was in a space of, and to even to this day, where it's like, okay, show me what it is I need to be shown. There's nothing to fear, everything to trust. I'm fully safe in this physical vehicle, in this chair, in this moment. What do I need to know? What can you show me?
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll kind of go into those things which help you self-develop.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what has me so eager in helping other people, is to self-develop. This
Mm-hmm.
isn't something that's outside of you. You just need other people to help trigger and open things up. But I do more of the embodiment of the soul connection instead of calling it regression work, because it's really all in the same. Because regression could be last week, last month, 5 years ago, 5 lifetimes ago. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't necessarily have to fit the mold of what you believe in this lifetime or what you've been programmed to
Mm-hmm.
believe.
So if you're doing past lifetime regression work, that's some of the work that you're doing with people.
Yes.
Is it QHT or is it different than that? Is it a
So
different?
it's traditional and QHT, and I'm
Okay.
certified
Okay.
in the Beyond Quantum Healing too. It's so my thing is this: I've never been caught up in brands and names. If it
Right.
fits and it looks good and it works for you, let it work for you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there's tools in all the different toolboxes that help me
Mm-hmm.
to be a better practitioner in the space that I am with a client or with a group of people. And a lot of it really boils down to a trust factor, and that that someone is there holding that space in non-judgment and can sense when you might be getting nervous or your heart rate's coming up, and be able to keep you in that space so that you can benefit from some of the memories that are coming up, because that's the end goal, is to benefit from them.
Mm-hmm.
You're learning from them.
Right. Right. So I'm actually going to put you on the hot seat here for a second, only because Elena Denon we were messaging back and forth, and she was saying, we were talking about how many people are getting infiltrated while they're doing QHT. So they're going under hypnosis and getting infiltrated by bad ETs, AI, archons, and demonic entities. So can you share with everybody so they know they can feel comfortable? Because there's a lot of people now saying, don't do QHT because you'll get infiltrated. So what do you do with people to make sure that they're safe and protected? Because I know that you know all about this. So you want to share with everybody what you do to help them so that when they do this, they will be safe and protected when you create like a sacred space.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we're gathering all this information and listening to what so many people are saying about, oh, well, if I come up to the light, I'm going to be attacked. Not everybody is attacked.
Right.
I, for one, meditate before I work with a client, so that my energy field and my zone is fully safe and fully aligned and fully connected to the divine God source.
Mm-hmm.
The same is done with the client. So we've opened a space of safe haven, so that these corruptions and trespassers hit the door. They can't even get in,
Love that.
And I think that's really the key. Now, if you believe you're going to get attacked and you believe that this is going to happen, then there's nothing I can do. It's all really up to the client to really understand that you hold the power of who gets in and out.
Mhm.
You hold the power.
Absolutely.
You hold all of it within yourself.
Mhm.
So my job is, I'm not here as a fixer, and I don't need a lifer on my client list, although I love them. The key here is to show you the tools so that you feel empowered to reprogram yourself and
Mhm.
to get in there to become the best you can possibly be.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I knew that. That's why I put you on the hot seat, because I know that you're smart enough to know to protect everything. But there's a lot of
Sure.
people doing HQT on people that are not creating a sacred space. They're just going right on into it, and they're not teaching the client what to do to protect themselves. They're not doing anything, like nothing. There's a lot of people doing that. And then there's also QHT practitioners who have been infiltrated themselves, which I'm
Sure.
not even going to name the people I know who are infiltrated, because I know a whole list of people who have been infiltrated. But so there's
Well,
those.
that goes for channelers too. I
Yeah.
always say, you can follow somebody, and once you start getting dates and times and things,
Mhm.
that's an infiltration in some ways. You can give a timeline, but to say things are going to
An
happen.
exact
But the
date.
thing
Yeah,
is,
bad.
unless some people will just get into the habit and they'll run off autopilot, is what I call it. They'll just say, oh, I'm connected blood, this sounds like me and sounds like what I channel, and they put it out there, not realizing how much it totally affects everything, right?
Mhm.
So in saying that, there, our antenna to God, if you don't keep it in its space of protection and love and with the beings that you're with, then of course you're going to get wavelengths of oops, but it'll sneak in, and you have to, to me it's sacred. And it's one of the things I was self-taught in my massage center
Mhm.
was had to clear myself from the moment I got out of my car, before I walked into my building, before I walked into my suite, that it was completely cleared and prepared for the client. And
Mhm.
that when the client left, it was completely cleared, including me. The next client comes in, so that there is this space that I am only with you. I am only with you. This is all you, me, and your guides. Nobody's effects or trash cans or junk bins have been left behind. My hands are washed, and we're ready to go and work with you. And the same thing happens with anything that's done online.
Mhm.
You can create the same thing.
Yep. Yeah, I'm doing women's conferences each week now. And in between each of my women's spiritual support groups, I'm doing a cold cleansing ritual, because I don't want to take everybody's energy to the next group. And when
Right.
I was doing private sessions, I did the same thing. I cleared in between each person that I work with. I don't want to give other people's energy. You don't want to do that, because you don't
Well,
know, it could be bad.
exactly. And I also think that when you're really into the healing and the higher good for all, your ego doesn't, and egos are wonderful in certain ways. So I'm not saying anything, because we need
Yeah.
to learn how to work together with that.
Mhm.
Is that those of us who have come here with the heart, and the many, many galaxies in which we've gained all of this information, as much as we want to make money and sustain ourselves with it, that is not our main drive. Our
No,
main drive is what is here, and
exactly.
it needs to be gifted, but at the same time sustain our
Mhm.
livelihood. But it's not our number one goal.
No, I agree with that. I mean, I know you and I both are on the same sheet of paper, where we know we're here to serve humanity, but at the same time, this is all I do. So I've got to get some money, because I have to pay the bills. I don't want to be, if I'm
Sure.
homeless, I'm not going to be helping anyone, because I'm not even going to own a cell phone if I'm homeless. So I'm not going to have a computer. I'm not going to be able to do these, things that I do in these workshops and these classes, and have a Facebook, none of the stuff I do, I would be able to do if I didn't have something paying the bills. So you got to charge something. Plus, what people need to understand about healers and light workers and spiritual people is everything needs to be in balance. You need to be receiving as much as you're giving, because it needs to be a
Yes.
balance. So there has to be an exchange, we call it in our industry an energy exchange.
Yes.
And so, for example, Sandra and I may even like give each other a session. So like I may give Sandra a session, and she may give me like a hypnotherapy or some healing, or one of her, sacred healing sessions, something like that, or a soul embodiment session. She may do that with me, and I may do a session with with her because it's an energy exchange and we're both trying to help each other. That's the main goal. The main goal is I'm serving her, she's serving me, but we got to get something in return. So we do an energy exchange. And so the way I look at money when I'm doing work and I'm charging something, I try to make it affordable so anybody can do it. Like my energy healing workshop that should cost, I should be charging $3,000 to $5,000 for it because all my friends who do similar, that's what they're charging. But I'm charging $197 so that anybody can afford it, unless they are a homeless person, they wouldn't be able to, but everybody else should be able to afford to learn all those modalities, to heal themselves and other people. And so, but people need to understand that everyone in our industry, we need to earn a living. We need to put food on the table. My husband is mostly retired, so I'm actually the one bringing in most of the income right now. And I have a family of 4 living at home that I'm taking care of, and a cat, so 5. So we can't just do it for free. I get people who send me nasty notes all the time. If you're really here to serve, everything should be free. It's like, okay, well, I am already giving for free. I do I answer people's questions by emails and messages all day long for free. I do a whole YouTube channel for free, and I don't make any money on that YouTube channel. So I'm doing that for free, and it's all free information all the time. Constantly helping people every day. Like I'm out in the public and strangers are coming up and I'm helping them and giving them information that's free. But something has to pay the bills. You can't starve and just give free.
Because you're being of service to the divine creator says you got to be barefoot and starving. So I never fell into that. I had to go out and get educated and self-learn and put together this and that. And there is absolutely an exchange of being of service. I don't even use the word free. I might use the word complimentary with some. Free has a connotation of things. But, even when you build in to say what a session may cost, that also accounts for the time you put in before it, the time you put in after it, any correspondence in between or thereafter, because I do like people to reach out to me afterwards. I mean, if you broke it down, it's more than minimum wage, but it's still, it's all relevant. I wouldn't ask a therapist or anyone else to see me and not charge me. I would think completely different of that entire section.
Or your doctor, do you go into the doctor and they do it for free because they're supposedly serving humanity to heal you or whatever, no, there's there's a price for everything. And really it's an energy exchange. So do you get people beating you up like that? Because I've been getting it for years where people are like, oh, it should all be free. And it's like, do you even hear what you're saying? So you basically want me to go live in a tent in Skid Row so that I can help you for free? I mean, who's going to pay my bills?
No, I really don't get it. I don't even entertain it. I don't even allow it into my energy field. It's, if you want to see me, you're going to make a session and you're going to see me. We're not going to talk about the money. We're not going to negotiate the money. You're going to get all of me. And to me, it's an energetic thing. So I have not had that. I know even when I opened my massage therapy center, and even when I was teaching how kids classes learn and play, people would say, oh, well, I could go down the street and go to Gymboree, or I could go down the street to the Four Seasons and get this massage. How come you charge this? And I went, you get what you pay for. That's all I'm going to say to you. You have to try it. Try it before you call me and complain about it, because that's not going to happen.
Yeah. It's a real thing. And don't you feel like there's a lot of light workers and healers and spiritual people out there that are undervaluing themselves because they're so worried about what people think and how people are judging them about the money? Like everything in this society is set up to be all about money, to the point where I think there's a lot of people who are here to be of service that are undervaluing themselves horribly because they're terrified to charge anything. Because I personally had many clients who came to me when I was doing one-on-one sessions and said, I'm a healer, but I don't know what to charge, and I'm afraid to charge too much. And they were really, really wrapped up all in this whole thing of what do I charge? And it shouldn't be about that. It should be, you should make an adequate living for doing whatever service, you're doing. And it should be, I always look at what's the industry standard. What are other people charging? When I was charging for my private sessions, what I noticed that I was undercharging too, but I was purposely doing that and knowingly doing it because the people who do what I do are charging $300 a session and I was charging $133 a session.
Yeah.
But I did
Totally
that.
understand.
Yeah. And I purposely did that because I wanted to be of service to more people. I didn't only want wealthy clients or middle class, people who had a lot of money. I wanted to be able to help single moms too, because I had a lot of single moms coming to me. So I purposely made that choice. But the important thing is you need to be able to create balance in your life. You need to give and receive. And there's a lot of healers out there. If any of you are watching this video right now, and you are like us, and you're a spiritual teacher or a healer, you're doing this kind of work to be of service, you are valuable, you are important, and you need to value yourself, and you need to charge for your value because you're giving your time, your energy, and that's all worth something. And it's all priceless. Actually, the work that we do in the energy healing realm is so priceless. If somebody comes to you and they have cancer and they've gone to 5 doctors who haven't been able to heal them, and you do a Reiki or some kind of session on them and they're healed, that's priceless. They went to 5 doctors, they got nowhere. And then suddenly they're having, because I've done that kind of thing for people where I've had people who came to me and said they went to 8 different doctors and they spent $30,000 on testing for me to fix their problem in 5 minutes. It's just like mind blowing how many times that happened.
Well, it happens. But for me, what I've done always is I ask Spirit what my price is. I've said, okay, what about this one? And I wait for them to give me an answer. And then I do not question it. Even when I've said, oh, that might be a little, okay, and then I'll have people call me and say, oh, you should do that for 440. And I'm like, no, Spirit's already giving me my answer and set my price table. I'm good.
Yeah, I had the same thing happen. The way I came up with the 133 is I didn't come up with that at all. I asked Yeshua because I didn't know what to charge. Honestly, I was shaking my head going, I don't know what the hell to charge. I even went to my husband and I go, honey, I am perplexed. I don't know what to charge people because I'm seeing people who do the work I do that are getting $500 a session, $800 a session, $1,000 a session, 300. The cheapest people I saw out there were like $275 a session. And I'm like, I feel weird charging these extraordinary. I don't want to be only the psychic to the rich people or something, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the star celebrity person. I don't want, those are not the people I want to attract. I want to attract normal people, normal, hardworking Americans and Europeans and Australia, from all over, because my clients come from all over the world, but I just want normal, average people that I'm helping. And so finally I broke down one day, and this was when I was, setting up my business, and I go, okay, Yeshua, you get to tell me what to do here. How much do I charge? And he said, you're going to charge $133. And I'm like, okay. And why is that? And he said, because first of all, it's going to be affordable for pretty much the majority of humans out there. And second of all, he said, because that's kind of number 33 and number 333 is kind of him and mine secret code with each other. So like when he's around me, no matter where I am, when it is, I'll look up and somewhere there'll be 33 or 333. And it's like him letting me know I'm here, I'm hanging out, kind of thing. So that was why we picked that. So it's kind of interesting how all that comes about. But it sounds like you have it figured out, which is really, really good. So tell everybody about your soul. So you were talking about the sacred healing, right? Or were you talking about the soul? Which one is the one that you do the past life? You look at past lives. So that's a soul embodiment session, right?
That's going to be a soul embodiment session. So, as an embodiment coach, it's really, I kind of designed it with Spirit because it's like we come to life inside of a family and we go through all these stages of being in the family. And everything is of a mental mission. Everything is a mental mission, what you should do, where you should go, what's acceptable, what's a reflection upon us as your family, etc. And we really bypassed the soul codes, the spiritual mission, the soul mission. And I think in the last couple of years that we've all been expanding a little bit, we're understanding that, wow, it isn't just about my degree, my zip code, where I live, how I've climbed up the ladder, so on. It isn't how I look to my neighbors and all that. It's here. And then once you kind of blend all that in and you realize that your soul must be a part of every droplet of all of this stuff that we call our life. Mm-hmm. It's our holy flame. And without it, none of this stuff exists. Mm-hmm. But if we come from the soul mission first, the spiritual mission first, all these other mental missions will fall into place, but in a different way and beyond spades. Because it's not just being a mission of what looks good, it's a mission of what feels good. Mm-hmm. And so we have to get out of the programming in which we have had instilled in us generation after generation after generation and get into that side of it. So it needs to come from the soul. Your soul is what does all the recording, your spirit, your scout. It's like this has to be this combination of things, and the rest of the shit will find its way. And I use that word quite a bit, so I'm not apologizing.
That's okay. I say words like that on my channel, so don't worry about it.
I didn't drop the F-bomb, but I could.
Every now and then that may come out of me too, if I'm angry enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I only use those kind of things, some of those words I use to process my anger. It's like if I'm mad, I'll say F and blah blah, whatever.
Well, the F has such a visceral thing to it,
Yeah.
And then as far as the other session goes, that's on the website, which is the Sacred Healing, is really all about using symbols and activations that are within you and around you that help to drive in and out different energy sources for you to be the best that you can possibly be. Some of them are advanced, and you may feel them subtly during the visit. You may feel them very intensely, but you'll start to build as you leave the session and find things starting to open up for you. So, and sometimes we even get your own special symbol for that time frame. It could come in a draw out. It could come in some kind of a picture, so I can work with the client, and they may receive it and share it back. So wow. It's all about activating and healing, really in rhythm and in tune with the frequency of the energetic body, which we also really need to understand the importance that our physical body is kind of that last zone. Everything comes from the outside in, and we have to start processing out here and bringing things into the physical and then allowing it to filter through and then processing back out. It's not all about this block body, doing all the work. So it helps take some of the stressors off if you realize, oh, it's over here. Let me work out here. So yeah, it's all symbols of the heart.
Wow. So is that you do? So what about your sacred healing sessions that you do? What do you do?
So the sacred healing sessions are the symbol sessions.
Oh, that's the symbol session.
They are the symbol sessions. Okay. And then, I'll do like in between sessions with people who are like, oh my gosh, I got so uptight, or I had this meeting coming up, or I have this coming up, or I really needed messages from my spirit. I'm feeling clogged up or static. They can call for that. And that's also a session that's really good for the kids too.
Oh, good.
So I work with children as well.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So I just recently had a 6-year-old. We were working with his guides. And so I said, well, do they help you during school? And he said, well, they don't cheat. They know it all already. They just give me hints. I was like, okay.
That's a really psychic kid.
Yes, very much so. So, I mean, the kids always surprise me. So that the booster session in between the refresher is meant for the kids. It's meant for if you just need to come in after you've had a session with me and just get a little refresher, a little fluff and go. Those are nice too.
So do you work remotely or only in person?
So I work remotely mostly just because of, what's been going on in the last 2 years. And the interesting thing is, I love the hands-on work, and I know that that's going to come back. And I know that community of meetings are going to come back. But for right now, this is such a beautiful avenue to reach anybody at any time frame, any time zone, anywhere in the world.
Right.
Because the language of energy is all the same,
Yep.
And so I am just so grateful to have this. And I was all for it, gung ho. A lot of people were like, no, I don't know. And then now that they've tried it, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how more powerful it is. Because especially if you're doing hypnosis and regression work, there's no better place to be in your own recliner or your own laying down in your own bed.
Yeah.
There's no place, because now you don't have to worry about getting there and unwinding, getting up and going out into the neon lights and getting in your car and driving off. You can let things integrate more in that safe space.
That's awesome. I love that. I'm so glad you're doing that too, because I have so many friends that are healers who said to me, oh, no, I can't do online stuff. It has to be in person. And I'm like, do you understand how much you're limiting yourself? Because we are all tied in. We are all connected. Every one of us is connected through the source field of energy, and through God. We're all part of God, and we're all connected through God's source, and just through the whole energy field of quantum physics. So the reason why this work that you and I do works all over the world, like I had a whole group of 8 women earlier today, and I could tap into each and every single one of them and give them very specific information, for themselves, because it's the energy field, and I'm able to send out an energy tether into the universe that comes back with information. And I'm able to send them information via healing, or like Reiki. Like I could send Reiki long distance if, I needed to people. I do it all the time. And I've received it as well. I've had long distance Reiki sessions from people over the phone, or over, like they put me on speakerphone and they did Reiki, and I could really feel it. Like I could feel stuff moving and buzzing in my body and changing and shifting, and see colors and flashes of light and all kinds. I mean, you can really, really sense all of it. It's just amazing how it works. So there's so many people out there who think, oh, I need to have somebody in person, but I really want to see you in person. I used to have people that were kind of demanding, like, oh, I won't work with you, Kimberly, unless I see you in person. And it's like, why? I can work with you anywhere over the phone. Or they'd say they can't work with me unless it's on a video. They have to be able to see me. And it's like, you don't need to be on a video with me. Even you can just hear my voice and talk to me, and it's still going to work the same. It's still the same energy. You don't have to have me on a video. You don't have to have me in person. It's still all going to work just fine. It doesn't make a difference.
Well, I think there's a misconception on, how they're receiving. So some people think they have to be in your, your brick and mortar physical on the table type space, which is all great and beautiful. But like I said, there's no better receiver that's more relaxed when you're doing it from your home. And the more you get into this work, the more you begin to trust the healers and the people that are working, because you yourself are cleaning your own energy and getting into that transmission. So you're not driving to a place and checking in and getting on a table and then getting off of a table. You're literally, your receiver is so much more relaxed and open from being in your safe space in your home, truthfully. But I've had people literally call me from their car. They're like between something or whatever, and they have an appointment. I'm like, where are you? They go, I'm in a car. Okay, pull over, take a nice deep breath, ready. And it can be such a power refresher, depending on what's going on and what they need. Now, would I do an embodiment of the soul? That way, absolutely not. You need to be home in a space, relaxed, going into relaxation techniques, which some people call hypnosis. I'm pretty careful with my words. Call it what you want, but where you're able to be a receptor, and you're also being able to give back clearly, so that the two can meet and energies can be read.
Right. Well, and I want to point out to everybody that I do not do private sessions anymore. So part of why I'm having Sandra on and all these other beautiful ladies that I've been having on my show lately, like Nancy You're Out and Amy Satori and Ileana, the Star Traveler, all of these women, is because when you guys are messaging me wanting a private session, I'm sending you over to them. So I'm going to send you, if you need energy work and you need past life information, I'm going to send you over to Sandra, because I don't do energy healing on people anymore. I only send energy now to friends of mine, like really dear friends or family members who call me and say, I'm sick and ailing, can you send me some Reiki? And then, yeah, I'll send it to my, best friend from elementary school, but if you're a stranger, I'm not doing that work anymore. So that's part of why I'm having Sandra on my show right now, so that you guys will learn about her. And I'm going to tell you about her because I am a psychic and I am a human lie detector, and Sandra's the real deal. And her energy is 100% mama bear. She's got the divine protection. She's got that. That's why she loves babies so much. Why, like, she loves working with the children and the babies, because her healing energy is extremely like Mother Mary kind of energy. She embodies that Mother Mary, divine mother, divine healer. Ooh, I'm getting chills right now because I'm talking about this, because I don't think I ever talked to you about this before.
No.
But Sandra, ever since the first time I met her, what I was sensing from her is this very Mother Mary, divine feminine, motherly, nurturing mama bear energy. And when you receive a healing from Sandra, that is what's going to come through to you. So that her energy, that mama bear, loving, healing, nurturing energy, is what's going to infuse you in your healing session. So I just wanted to point that out.
Well, thank you. Thank you. My whole goal is to help people find their flames before other people put their fire out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your God-given flame, it's your God-given fire, and it's in your control, and you've got to take responsibility for it. So there are times where I can be very gentle, and there are times the guides come through and I'm like, you need to talk to me, and you need to talk to yourself. Be honest with yourself. Be truthful. Yes.
Well, you have to hold people accountable, and you need to make them responsible for their actions and their choices. And sometimes we need to speak tough love to people. We need to be hardcore and say, you're in your situation because you did this, this, and this, and you made the choice to do that. So now you get to make the choice to undo it, and you have to talk to people that way sometimes. You have to give them that tough love. You're not always going to be all, oh, lovey, huggy, kissy. It's some of the time you have to put your foot down and say, excuse me, you're making some bad, you're doing some bad choices here. And so they need to be accountable for their behavior. And
sure.
stuff.
But the goal really is to rewire your own software so that you can be the best that you can possibly be, and authentically who you are, not what everyone else thought you're supposed to be, and on the path of that, but to be here fully embracing the heart and the soul, and merging that under this hood, this body, this vessel.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So speaking of all of those spiritual kind of things, you have this sign behind you, keep it spiritually simple. What made you come up? Because everybody knows KISS, which is usually either keep it simple, stupid, or keep it simple, Stanley. I had a boss years ago who she said, keep it simple, Stanley. Where did you come up with keep it spiritually simple?
Well, it's something I had written down. I journaled years and years ago. And I always found that if things are too complicated, or I take a course that's complicated, or people are talking to me and it's complicated and it keeps going over my head, there's a simpler way to be able to say it to the average person. And so we are all average people. It's just some people try to make something so much bigger than what it is, that they've missed the whole point of what's happening. So it used to be keep it simple, Sandy, because that's just who I am and the rule I have. And then it's to keep it spiritually simple so that you can do it every day, all day. And it's not like, like meditation, for example. Everyone thinks, I need to have 30 minutes to an hour. Well, you can do it in 1 minute. You can do it in 2 minutes. You can re-zap yourself energetically in a few minutes. And how can I do that and still be what is expected of me for the survival parts of the day? So that's what that's about, is keep it spiritually simple. There's simple tips, simple ways to fuel and feed your soul, and have your soul fuel and feed you throughout the day.
Wow. And I got to tell you guys all that whole, I never ever thought of keep it spiritually simple. However, I will say keeping things simple in general to explain to people when I'm explaining things is like my number one priority, because you would not believe the number one problem I have, or I mean, the biggest problem I have with a lot of the light workers that are out there now that are sharing information. It's so scientific or so esoteric or so like they're going into all of this, like, I can't even explain it. The way their language is, I don't understand a damn thing they're saying. Like I will read these really long messages people are putting up on Facebook on a lot of the spiritual like groups and stuff that just go on and on and on. And it's like, can't you just give me a few sentences to sum this up of what is the main message here? Because it was just this long thing. And it was very the language is so scientific that it goes over the top of my head. Like there's somebody on YouTube who I really love. Her name's Marina Jacoby. Have you ever followed her videos?
I'm not. Yes, I believe I know who she is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she works with like the Galactic Federation and the Ashtar and the this and that. And all of her information is, some of it is so like, I love watching her. I think she's amazing. I think she's very high vibration. I don't think she's been infiltrated. A lot of people are going, oh, she's been infiltrated. No, she hasn't been infiltrated at all. The problem with her is that I find, this is my only problem, is that the way she speaks and the way she talks about everything, it kind of goes over my head. Like it's so scientific. She's very sciencey. She's a brainiac. Okay. She's brilliant. The problem with really brilliant people is sometimes they need to dumb down their language for the normal people. Like I'm not that brilliant, I mean, I'm smart, but I'm not I'm not PhD brilliant like that, where I'm going to be speaking in this language like that. I can't do that. And I don't understand things that way. I just don't interpret, you start talking to me. I mean, one of my very closest friends, she's like PhD brainiac, and she'll go off talking to me about something and my mind will check out. She gets angry with me because I do this thing where I will check out, because my brain, if the information is just too hard for my brain to like grasp, I will check out. I'll just, go off into Netherland or whatever, I'll just check out. I can't do that. And so like when I wrote Ascension 101 book, I tried to keep it simple, spiritually simple, but I never thought of that phrase. Like I didn't come up with that. I just wanted to make it very basic, so that basic language is what I was thinking, very basic language, so that people who don't know anything about any of this spiritual stuff, maybe they just woke up like recently. They just recently woke up. They can read anything I put out or watch any of my videos or go through any of my classes or do any of the things that I do and totally absorb all of it without tuning out and checking out. Like they can literally sit there and really absorb it all like a sponge, and it will really resonate with them and make sense. And there's a lot of people out there that are spiritual geniuses, I guess is a good term for them. They're spiritual geniuses, and they're putting on these videos and they're going over all this crazy esoteric. I've been sent to so many websites lately from all these amazing sciencey people that are like merging science and spirituality, and the stuff that they're talking about is so overwhelming to my brain and goes so far over my head that I literally just tune out. I just can't I can't get it. It's like, just tell me what's the basic information? I just want a few basic sentences, not all this language.
We have the power to change things within a minute. Mm-hmm. Why do we have to spend 20 minutes doing it if we don't have 20 minutes to do it? And if my eyes are going left to right more than 2 or 3 paragraphs, I'm gone blurry-eyed because there's other things I need to do. Mm-hmm. So it's important that we keep it simple. It's so that you can carry it out throughout the entire day, whether you have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or you just have 30 seconds and you need to, boom, tune in. How do you find the tools to do that? And props to you in the Ascension 101, because when I got the book, I literally was done it in 2 days. It was so simple and so to the point and so educational at the same time, but it didn't drain my brain. It didn't drain my energy where I'm like, I really want to pick that book up and get to chapter 4, but it's just I don't even have the energy tonight to do that. Your book was like, it was so easy flowing. And so props to you for keeping it that way.
Thank you. Yeah, it was all channeled. It was actually 70% of the info in that book was channeled because I was asking my boss all these questions like, well, what is God? Well, what is this? Well, what, and he was answering. And then I was writing like a mad dog, trying to write it all down really fast. And he would
Well, you
answer.
did a great job. It's a great
Yeah.
book. It's a book everyone should get a hold of and read.
Thank you.
It has a lot of very powerful information in there, as well as it's an easy read. So it doesn't strain the eyes and suck you dry. It just doesn't. But if anything is difficult, no one's going to pick it up and do it. They're just
No.
not going to do it. They're going to, and then what's going to happen is they set time out and to do something, and then it just becomes, and then they skip a couple days because it's just too much. And my spirit just keeps telling me, Sandy, please show everybody how to do things more simple and how to work it into their everyday life so they can be the best they can be, not only for themselves, but for those around them. Because everything that we do affects everything. But we can only change what we do to affect ourselves.
Wow. So I have a question for you. Since you work with children, I'm getting a lot of messages from clients saying, I have a child that's been vaccine injured. Okay. Can you do healing work on those kiddos?
Well, I can. I would have to tune in. To me, everything's individual. It's not just a blanket type healing. One size fits all. So because every child comes in a little differently, immunity a little differently, programming a little differently, but it also has to do with how the parent is as well. So it's usually spirit always has me work with the parent a little bit so that the energies can harmonize outside of, say, a session.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
because children pick up on everything outside of their parents' body. They literally pick up on everything. And so if they're going to be around the parents, which is their dominant DNA, one of them will be, or, you have to be able to work with the parent so that they know how to hone in their energy so that their child can be the best that they can be. That's all the time.
Yeah, I was looking at the time. I'm keeping track because I've got
I am too.
Physical therapy.
I am too.
I have a
I don't want you to be late because that would be on me.
No, I wouldn't do that. But so do you have any, before we go, and thank you for sharing all this with everyone who's listening and myself, because I'm learning so much about you because, I'm learning as we get to know each other more and more and more. But the big thing is, do you have any advice that you can leave everyone here with all these crazy things that are happening on the planet right now? A lot of people are getting hopeless. They're feeling isolated. They're feeling lonely. They're feeling like the world's going to hell. Do you have any kind of advice or tips you can give everybody that will help them to make it through these times that we're going through? Because we know that there's light at the end of this tunnel. We know this is temporary. It's not going to keep going on forever. We don't know how quickly it's going to be done, but the fact is we're in it right now and it feels very dense and really nasty. So what tips can you share with everybody? Like just some quick tips.
So first off, we have to understand that everything takes work. Everything takes work. And you can choose to make it as difficult or as easy as you want. Now, when life gets staticky and there's all this information coming in from so many sources, sometimes we just have to turn it off because it's our direct connection with the God source that's going to give us the answers that we seek, first off. And everything is not outside of us, it's inside of us. And if we turn things off and learn how to go within and strengthen that intuition, that empathic feeling and filter that we have, that we're blessed with, it's not a curse, it's a blessing, and learn how to hone it and skill it, then we can take more time to be in the present moment. And the present moment requires mindfulness. And that is something that is a learned thing. So every day, all day, we're reminding ourselves, oh, I just got way ahead of myself. Oh, I just thought about something way back there. Everything that we do that takes us out of this moment, even if we feel the aches and pains in our bodies, we need to be present in that moment and to pay attention to that. And so my big philosophy is stop, drop, sit, connect with your breath. Stop, drop, sit, connect with your breath. It automatically connects in with the heart.
I love that.
And then once you do that, things don't look so out of control, chaotic. I don't know what to do, wringing my hands feelings. So bring it back to the breath, bring it back to the heart. Find people like myself and Kimberly who are really here for your highest good, for your highest good. And reach out to people to help, because we all need it. I get sessions all the time from different people because I have to walk my walk and stay in tune. Nobody's having an easy ice skating walk through any of this.
No.
I do not care how advanced you may think they are. Everyone's getting hammered. So
me big time.
I trust me, I get it. So we can just stop, drop, sit, connect with the breath.
Yeah.
Connect with the heart, move from that place.
I love it. Thank you for that. And if people want to do a sacred healing session or an embodiment of the soul session with you, what is the best, a soul embodiment, a soul embodiment session with you, where is the best place for them to get in touch with you and to book a session?
Okay, so that's going to be on my website, which is Embodiment of the Soul. So it's www.embodimentofthesoul.com.
Okay, and I will.
And I also have a Facebook Embodiment of the Soul Facebook page too.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, I will share it in the description, but I always ask people to say where they want to be contacted, because I will have some people I interview on this channel that literally have 20 different websites and places to go. And it's like overwhelming. And I'm like, well, which one is the best one? Because I'm not going to just list 20 or 30 of them. It's like, pick one, so I always want people to say, where do you want to be contacted? Because there might be a specific place that everybody else wouldn't, know
well,
to go.
Thank you.
So thank you. But I will list that for you. So
well, thanks, Kimberly.
You're welcome. And any of you who have children. So a lot of you have been coming to me, and I got to say, I'm so grateful that we did this interview, because I'm having so many people come to me saying, who do I take my children to for healing? And then I've been going, I don't really know a lot of people who do children, because most of the people that I work with, they're working on adults. They're not working on kids at all. So if you have kids who need healing for any reason whatsoever, emotional trauma, they went through a trauma, maybe they're getting bullied in school. Maybe you think that they may have past life stuff. Maybe they're a really awake kid and they're like one of those crystal children who know everything. They can see through your soul, and they need a little bit of healing because they're really empathic, because the kids who are being born, who are really advanced souls, they are so empathic and sensitive. So they're taking on all the crap of the planet and all the people around them. They're taking on if you're the parent, the mom and dad, they're taking on all your garbage, everything. And they need to be cleared and healed regularly to keep them it's almost like a tune-up, like a car, you got to tune up your car. Your kids need a tune-up when they're empathic children and they're taking on everybody around them's crappy, gunky energy. It's really important to give those kiddos a tune, kind of an energy tune-up. So give Sandra a call and get them in to see her.
Well, thank you, Kimberly.
Yeah, thank you for joining me today. And thank you all for stopping by my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. And the more likes we get, the more these videos are visible to people who need to see them. So please as they say, smash that like button. They always say, smash that like button. Yeah. And subscribe, hit the bell so that when new videos are coming on. I try to do at least one every single week. Sometimes they're just me teaching you, and sometimes I'm having beautiful guests like Miss Sandra here to come on and share information with you. But we love and appreciate all of you for coming here, spending your time with us today, watching this video, and we look forward to seeing you next time. So take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Much love.
Much love.